I already gave him his warning. Fight like your life depends on it, because it does.
Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer, was recently detained for reckless behavior just as he was gearing up for a high-stakes fight against the legendary Mike Tyson. This bout was highly anticipated, with fans buzzing about the show.
I don't have a warning for Mike. I think he knows that I'm not
down between the two stars. Instead of focusing on rigorous training for what could be the biggest challenge of his career, Jake Paul found himself entangled in legal trouble. Rather than preparing for the fight in the gym, he ended up making headlines for his careless actions while exploring New York's waters. The irony is striking. Paul was expected to be honing his boxing skills, but instead he was caught up in a different kind of confrontation. Jake Paul's adrenaline-fueled antics have not only jeopardized his career, but have also dashed the highly anticipated fight with Mike Tyson. Instead of focusing on training, Jake's reckless behavior on a surfboard in New York put others at risk and ended with him being handcuffed. Each click of those cuffs seemed to echo the shattering of his fight dreams. The bout, once a major event for promoters, fans, and even Tyson himself, is now effectively off the table due to Jake's inability to stay disciplined. Let's dive into the details of his arrest. Instead of preparing for the biggest fight of his life, Jake was out enjoying himself in New York, causing chaos and ruining the fight everyone was eagerly awaiting. Imagine this: Jake Paul, just weeks away from the biggest fight of his career, is out partying on yachts, popping bottles, and flaunting his lifestyle on social media. Meanwhile, Mike Tyson is likely in the gym, training intensely. Instead of focusing on his fight, Jake is living it up like it's spring break, and things quickly spiral out of control. He wasn't just relaxing by the water, he was going full throttle on a surfboard, tearing through New York's waters as if he were invincible. Here's the kicker: Jake Paul wasn't just casually enjoying himself, he was pulling off stunts and tricks, zipping around restricted areas as if the rules didn't apply to him. It was as though he'd forgotten there were consequences to such reckless misbehavior, but believe me, they hit hard. The police had been keeping an eye on Jake, and when reports of his dangerous antics started pouring in, they decided enough was enough. For a celebrity like Jake Paul, getting caught breaking the law in broad daylight is the last thing you want, but he was too engrossed in putting on a show for his followers to care. The situation took a nosedive when police boats arrived, sirens blaring. Jake's day of fun abruptly ended, and you could almost see the realization hit him that he'd seriously messed up. The officers weren't taking it lightly. They ordered him to stop, and when they got close, it was clear he was in deep trouble. The police didn't care that Jake Paul was a celebrity. They saw someone breaking the law and were determined to make an example of him. Jake was yanked out of the water, and within minutes, the cuffs were on. Yes, Jake Paul in handcuffs, being escorted off the lake by the cops. Imagine the scene. What started as a lively party atmosphere around the water quickly turned into stunned silence as people watched the drama unfold. Cameras were everywhere, phones were out, and within moments videos of the arrest flooded the internet.
I'm very confident in myself, and I'm going to win in devastating fashion.
The incident has since been buzzing in the fight world, with social media going wild. Jake Paul arrested quickly became a trending topic, and the internet did what it does best, turning the whole situation into a meme factory, with people roasting Jake from all angles. Opinions are split. Some say it was about time Jake Paul faced consequences, while others can't believe their eyes. One thing is certain: Jake's carefree attitude has finally caught up with him. This isn't a minor run-in, it's a full-blown scandal that could ruin everything he's built in his boxing career. His team is scrambling to control the damage, but it's clear the impact is significant. What's truly shocking is that this drama unfolded right before Jake's biggest fight yet, adding a bizarre twist to the whole situation. With the biggest fight of his career on the horizon, Jake Paul should have been laser-focused. Instead, he was out partying, as if the legendary bout with Iron Mike Tyson wasn't looming. This fight is a far cry from the opponents Jake has faced so far. Up until now, Jake's opponents have mostly been washed-up retired MMA fighters, former NBA players, and social media personalities. Sure, they might have put up a decent fight, but let's be real, none of them were real challenges for a prime boxer. Take Ben Askren, for instance. He was a beast in MMA, but when he stepped into the ring with Jake, he seemed more interested in collecting a paycheck than actually fighting. And who could forget Nate Robinson, a former NBA star with zero boxing experience, who was knocked out cold by Jake? These weren't genuine tests of Jake's boxing skills. His fight with Tyson would have been a true test, but now it's all in jeopardy. Jake Paul's past opponents were more like warm-up matches, and he knew it. The only real boxer he's faced is Tommy Fury, who handed Jake his first career loss and exposed just how much he still needed to improve if he wanted to be taken seriously in the boxing world. Now, Jake was set to go up against Mike Tyson. Yes, the same Mike Tyson who has taken down some of the biggest names in the sport. This is a whole different ballgame. Tyson is a living legend, the youngest heavyweight champion in history at just 20 years old, and he claimed the WBC title by knocking out Trevor Berbick. Tyson's list of victims reads like a who's who of boxing greats: Larry Holmes, Michael Spinks, Frank Bruno, and more. For Jake to step into the ring with a fighter of Tyson's caliber, he should have been in the gym day and night, perfecting every aspect of his game. Jake should have been honing his footwork, working on head movement, sharpening his jab, and building stamina to go toe-to-toe with a legend like Mike Tyson. This isn't a fight where you can rely on natural talent or past knockouts against non-boxers. Every flaw in Jake's technique would be exposed if he wasn't meticulous. He should have been spending hours sparring with top-tier talent, studying Tyson's fight tapes, and preparing for the immense power and skill Tyson brings to the ring. Instead, Jake's focus was elsewhere, leaving his preparation for this monumental fight in serious jeopardy. Jake should have been preparing for the raw aggression and power that only a fighter like Mike Tyson can bring. Instead, he risked it all for fleeting moments of fun in the sun. Let's be clear, don't underestimate Tyson just because he's nearing 60. At 58, he still possesses the devastating power that made him a legend. Even in his 50s, Tyson can deliver punches with the same force that knocked out many of his opponents in their prime. Jake's lack of serious preparation and focus has left him vulnerable to facing a fighter who remains a formidable force despite his age. Mike Tyson isn't coasting on past glories. He's been putting in the work, and it shows. His stamina is better than ever. He can go rounds without breaking a sweat. His physique is remarkable, looking like he hasn't aged a day. Tyson is shredded, with muscles that rival those of fighters half his age. It's hard to believe he's nearing 60 when you see how in shape he is. The training videos circulating online reveal everything you need to know. Tyson remains an absolute beast. He's hitting the pads with the same ferocity, speed, and precision that made him the most fit. It's not just about Mike Tyson's power, though that remains formidable. His fight IQ is off the charts. With decades in the ring, Tyson has faced some of the biggest names in boxing and has used every punch in the handbook: left hook, uppercut, overhand right with devastating effect. His knockout record speaks volumes. Tyson's deep understanding of the sport comes from years of experience at the highest level, and his ring intelligence is unmatched. This is a level of skill and strategy that Jake Paul simply cannot compete with. Tyson's mastery and tactical acumen make him a formidable opponent beyond just physical power. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson were set to clash in what was billed as the Clash of the Eras on November 15, 2024, at the At-T Arena. Tickets sold out quickly, and the hype was immense. This fight was especially anticipated because it was Tyson's first major return to the ring since his iconic comeback against Roy Jones Jr. in 2020. The excitement peaked after an electrifying press conference between Mike and Jake in New York City on August 18th. The tension, trash talk, and face-off escalated the anticipation to new heights. But with Jake's recent antics, this highly anticipated showdown is now off the table, leaving fans disappointed and the event in jeopardy. Fans were placing bets, eagerly anticipating the return of the legendary Mike Tyson and wondering if Jake Paul had what it took to go toe-to-toe with one of the greatest of all time. The fight was set to be a historic event, but now, thanks to Jake's irresponsible decisions, it's all fallen apart. The big question now is whether this arrest was a genuine mistake or a deliberate attempt by Jake to avoid the bout. The debate has everyone talking. Pre-fight jitters are real, and the pressure of facing a legend like Tyson might have gotten to Jake. Regardless of the reason, Jake has disappointed fans, derailed what could have been an epic moment in boxing history, and left everyone wondering what could have been. We'll have to wait and see how this situation unfolds. Share your thoughts on Jake Paul's detention and reckless behavior in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.